Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jewel. I am going to start my little tutorial series. I might be able to do this in one session. It might take two. We are going to create a journal cover like this. I think I'm going to use a different lace here, but the rest of it's going to be fairly similar. Okay, we're going to get started. I'm going to show you what you're going to need. This is a fabric and a lace cover. All right, I've got some things here. All right, now there are more than one way to do this. I use Craft Text, and that's spelled KRAFTEX, and it is a fabric paper, and it comes in a roll like this, or you can get it in like 8 by 11 inch sheets, which is a little more costly. So I just buy the big roll, and when I do a flexible journal cover, my base is always this. I have in the past, and if you do not have this, you do not need to use this. I have used a manila folder on the inside, and I also have in the past, I think I may have used cardstock, a good weight. This is thin. This is actually my matte photo matte paper. But for the size journal, and I'm going to go over the dimensions in a minute, you would need 2 pieces of cardstock. You probably would need to do it this way and then do a hinge on the inside because you're going to have a spine here, and this paper is not large enough unless you want to make a smaller journal. You could make a smaller journal and just use one sheet of this, but I'm going to show you this particular size, and we're going to go over that today. So those are your options, and I'm going to give you some options on laces and things like that as well, because everybody has different stuff in their stash. So let me take a seat, and I'm going to go over the dimensions of this. Okay, I wanted to show you what else you're going to need. Okay, you're going to need a cotton or a muslin fabric or some kind of a thin base, and this is going to be our first layer, and you're going to need to do the same thing on the inside. And so I have 2 pieces of this cotton, and actually this was I had an old curtain that had a blackout liner on the inside, and that I took the curtain apart and I have used that. It's kind of nice and soft, and because my muslin is like more yellow, and this is like it's not as yellow. It's because I'm using a lot of the cream color. It's like a cream color. Okay, so just to show you the inside, you can see that fabric right here, okay, inside the pocket. So you're going to need 2 pieces of that, and you're going to cut them to the size, and I'll tell you the size in a minute. Then you're going to need the next layer we're going to do is I have chosen a fabric to go the whole length, and you can see this peeking out here and in here, and you can kind of see it underneath, and I also used it on the inside as a pocket. So I believe I got this fabric on Amazon, and I liked it. It's like an embroidered fabric, so whatever you have you can use. Now I'm going to have to piece this because I wanted this scallop part at the bottom, and I didn't have a long enough section. So what I've done is normally you just want one piece to go from side to side. I had to cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it like this, and then this seam is going to go down. It'll be in the spine, so I will do some type of trim down the spine so that seam we won't see that. So you can piece your fabrics together. Okay, then you're going to need, I have made this to be our inside pocket. Okay, so what I did is I simply decided the size I wanted, and let me show you here again. I'll refer to this from time to time. The size, and this is probably about 3 inches, 3.5 inches. Now, I did have enough of this fabric with the ruffles, so I have a double ruffle here. I don't have any more, so this is going to be a straight edge, but I'm going to add some kind of trim, and I did pull out my white trims, and you can use whatever colors you have, white, cream, whatever, because I've also, if you can see right here, I have a layer of white lace here, and then another trim of white lace here, and then I have some of this mint colored, but I'm not going to use the mint, that mint and teal. I think to this one, I'm going to layer some blue. Okay, so let's move on. Then the next layer, so let's just do this again. So we're gonna layer this. We're gonna layer this next. Of course, I have to piece it. Then I am going to layer the colored lace. Okay, so as you can see, the colored lace is just peeking out here, and it runs up to here, so you get kind of, you can see it underneath, which, you know, gives it a little bit of color. So I'm just going to take, I have several pieces of different Venetian lace. I had thought about using this pink, but the guts of the journal, my signatures really don't have a lot of pink in them. Well, they do have some, but I've decided, I believe there's more blues in here. So I have this blue. I also have a cream color. Oh, I got a few over here, but I think I'm going to use this. I chose this because I just think it's super pretty, and it also has like the scallop. So I'm getting a scalloped effect. See, because I have this. This is going to be next. And I got this one also on Amazon. So if you guys are interested, and you want to know where I got this, if you like this kind of, you know, this embroidered, it's actually cotton with the little lace at the bottom. I'll find it and I will link it below. So as you can see, the layers are happening here. Then we are going to, I will pull from my white lace to trim it all out so we have a nice finished look. And we will figure out which pieces of this I'm going to do. Now, as you can see, I have this embellishment on the cover, and I'm not going to use that with this one. I have embroidered some real pretty pieces, and I think on this book I might do this on the cover. I'm not sure. I'll go through, you know, some of my embellishments. Also, I thought about maybe just leaving the cover plain and just doing a beautiful chiffon tie on it, and then maybe hanging this on the spine. I also have this one. So this was when I was down sick, I did some of this, and when I took my break, I really went into the embroidery and really kind of enjoyed that. Okay, so let's get going. So now you know you're going to have several layers. I'm going to put this aside. We're going to talk about the size. This journal is 13. You're going to need a piece, if you want it this same size, you're going to need a piece of whatever you choose to use, cardstock, the manila folder, or the craft text. I love the craft text because I know that this journal is going to last and last and last, because this is not going to break down like paper does. Okay, so, and this can be washed, by the way. If you want, craft text can go right into the washer in the dryer, and you will get a nice, even a softer feel to it. So, I mean, I love this stuff. So, okay, so what I have is I have a 9 inches here, and your journal is going to become a little larger than that because you're going to be hanging your fabrics off the edge just to give it like a little skirt. And you know, when I do my books, I like to have layers off the edges and off all the edges. I like there to be stuff kind of dripping out all over. Okay, so we have 13 inches this way, okay? So what you're going to end up with is, if you do you're going to do a 1.5 inch spine. And what I did is I measured it and then I took it and scored it, or you can just fold on the line. So what you're going to end up with is a 5 3/4 inches this way, 5 3/4 inches this way. So it's going to be 13 inches. So you have 5 3/4 and 5 3/4, and then another 1.5 inches. So that comes, if you add those up, that comes to 13 inches. And this ends up being pretty close to 6 inches by the time you have your little lace coming off the side. Okay, so, and then my length is just 9 inches. Okay, so you're gonna have 13 inches, 9 inches, and then you're gonna score in at the 5 3/4 inches, and you're gonna score in at the 5 3/4 inches, and then you will end up with this book. All right, so with that, this is going to be quite simple because I did prepare, and so you don't have to sit here and watch me measure and cut down all my fabric. I'm going to use my 3-in-1. You can use any fabric glue. You can even use Eileen's if the glue, you know, this is an acetate-based glue, and I probably, recovering from COVID, I probably shouldn't even be using this right now at all, because it is a little toxic. Okay, I'm just going to lay that right over there. Oops, let me get it. Let me pull that off again. That's not quite even. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna lay this, and then I'm gonna bring the book to it. That way I can see better. I want it just at the very edge. So we have a little bit. Let me just pull this, just a little hanging over. Now, if you want this to be super shabby, you can pull even more strings so you have that real shabby look. As you can see, this is kind of shabby, and I like that, you know, that gives it, I just like that look. It gives it more of a little bit of an aged, shabby dabby. And you don't have to sew this, but I'm going to take the whole thing to the machine and sew it, and I'll show you where I sewed it in a minute. Because I sell my journals, so I want them to hold up over time. Heirloom quality. Okay, so I have the outside piece ready, layer 1. Now, do I want to put layer 2 on the inside next? Sometimes yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that other piece of cotton, or whatever you have, whatever you choose to use here. And it's wrinkled. I don't care about that because I mean, you can get the wrinkles out. But you can be my guest if you like to iron your material. I don't like to iron. I don't like to do laundry. I don't mind dishes. Laundry, I don't like to do laundry. And I don't like to iron. I think I'll just do that much. Now, if I wasn't going to sew this, I'd probably be a little bit more generous with my glue. Let's line this up. kind of need to slip it up this way a bit. Just kind of spread the glue out. I like to use one of these as well sometimes, especially if I'm gluing paper to paper. That way you can really get your glue spread out. You pull this back a little bit and just get some glue over here. If you missed my Where Have I Been video, which was yesterday, and I did a flip through of that particular journal that I just, the cover we're doing. And I talked about, what went on. I'll fill you in. Our next project is going to be an altered book. So that will be the next tutorial series. And if you did not see my Christmas altered book series, and let me tell you, doing an altered book, if you're a beginner junk journal, is probably one of the best ways to get and you want to do journals, probably one of the best ways to get yourself into junk journaling. It's fairly easy, and it's just a simple introduction into junk journaling. But you don't have to just be a all right, now a beginner. Okay, our next one is going to be, our next layer is going to be this. And I actually want to hang this down this way a little bit, so it's hanging off the bottom. So let's go ahead and get this glued on. Okay. And guys, if any of you want to comment of what you'd like to see on, as far as tutorials, somebody was asking me about papers and, what kind of photo paper I print on and this and that. So I thought I might do a video on different papers that I use in my journals, and the brands that through the years I've found that have worked quite well for me. A lot of people will say, wow, the graphics look so good, and they think it's a particular digital that I buy. And no, it's the paper. Usually the paper. I mean, I have gotten a hold of a few digitals that they just didn't print out great, but most of them do. And it's all about the paper, guys. All about the paper. So I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to talk about if you want to recreate a vintage look and what kind of paper to use for that. And I'm not talking coffee dyed paper either, though I do use coffee dyed paper. Now I'm going to have to piece this, so I'm going to put some more glue over here. And I'm gonna have to line this up so the scallops match. There we go. And then when I sew them, all right, so let me pull this back. The reason why I'm not cutting this off is I don't want a seam on the back cover. If I'm going to have a seam, I want it to be on the spine where I can put a pretty piece of trim down the spine. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted. When I'm done this, I have to turn this book over, because for those of you that don't want to see if you don't want to stitch your signatures, if you want a hidden signature, a hidden spine, I'm going to show you what you would have done. You would have not glued that piece on the inside. You would have used that piece to sew your signatures to. Okay, for those of you that Okay, you see how I have it's showing my stitching? If you don't like that look, you would not put this piece in yet. You would use that piece to sew your signatures to, right in the middle, and then you would glue that down, if that makes sense. But I don't mind since I'm going to be putting a trim down here anyways, I don't mind that. Okay, now at this point we can flip it over and we can add our pocket right here. And let me just trim this off. And I am going to add a layer, and I have this just right on the top. It's kind of pretty, and I like it because it has the scallop, but I do have some other scallop lace over there too. So let me just lay this down and see if this is what I want here. It's probably a little narrow really for what I'm looking for. Let me see what else I have here. This one is a scalloped, and this is whiter. So I could do that, but I also want to run some trim there. And let me check our time, guys, because I might go into a second part for this. It gets too long. Yeah, I'm only at 21 minutes, so I have some time left. I think I'll just put the glue up the side and over here as well. It's getting thick. See the strings, when those strings happen and all of that, you know your glue's getting a little thick. You can thin it down with acetone. All right, so this will be our pocket, our inside pocket. Now, I did do a little seam across the top. I took it to the machine already, and I flipped it over, and I just sewed there. That's not necessary. I kind of think I might like this across the top, to be honest with you. Let me see, right there, and then I'll decide on a trim down there. This is wrinkled, which I'm not happy with. See that? I will need to iron that. So I'm gonna have to cut from here to here, and I'll go ahead and put that on. Now, if I would have thought about what lace I wanted to use in the beginning, I could have sewed that lace down when I did the seam, but I didn't, so I'm just going to glue it. But good old, you can use Fabri-Tac, good old Fabri-Tac, the 3-in-1. They're very, very similar glues. They will adhere, let me tell you. You're not going to have fabric pulling up. I'm just trying to see what side is what on this. I can't really tell. I don't think it matters. I think both sides are the same. All right, so we're just going to put this down. And I want to just let that sit for a second. And I'll determine while that's sitting and adhering, let's figure out what we're going to do with the bottom. Now, this whole thing of lace came all together, except for this didn't. This is from somewhere else. In a bundle, and this didn't, this piece. I got it on Amazon, and it all comes in one package, and it's extremely reasonable. I think, guys, I might start listing some of the products I like. I'm not interested in doing an affiliation, you know, or like with Amazon or anything like that, but a lot of people ask me, I like that. I think we'll do that one because I like the scallop. you know, what items, you know, where did you get this? Where did you get that? So I thought, you know, why not? I should just keep a running list of just some items that I order from time to time. I do have a couple Etsy shops that I like to order from as well. Since I have an Etsy shop, I like to support it. I usually get a lot of my old books, a lot of old papers, vintage music, and all that. I get all of that off of Etsy because I don't do and we don't have, like, up north, I'll tell you, you guys have great thrift stores. There's just not as many down here. So, and I'm just not you know, I'd rather be in here than out thrifting. So I'll go and I will let somebody else do the thrifting, and then and then I'll order it and I'll use it. And then I can help out those shops, you know. Okay, I'm getting really a lot of goopies on my hands right now. Okay, now I'm going to flip this back over. Our inside basically is done. The only thing that is not finished is I did add some colored lace, but I could have added some blue there, but I didn't. Here I did different lace, as you can see, so whatever you have. But the same pocket is the sewing. Okay, so, but I only sew once because I want all the layers on there, and then I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I did a fun scallop stitching because the scallops. So I kind of just mimic that. All right, we're going to flip it over. Our next is the blue lace. The next layer. Let's see how much we need. And I am going to bring this up right about like that. And then I have this pretty blue that will be behind there. And I think that looks good. So, you know what I don't like though? I don't like this little bit over here. So I think what I'm gonna do is, let me see if the other side, yeah, this is better. Let me see what we have here and where the lace is gonna end. Okay, right here. Okay, so this side I'm probably just going to trim a little bit after because it's kind of messy. See if I can get a nice clean cut. Not bad. Okay. And then I'm going to trim a little of this off right here, and then probably just leave it because we're going to be layering again. Okay, I want this up here, so I'm going to go ahead and just put some glue. I'm just going to flip this up just like this, so I don't really want it to shift, and then start gluing this down. And then I think we're going to do this all in one session. So I'm really just putting glue on the applique part, you know, the embroidery part, because I don't know how much of this will show through the mesh. It's like a mesh. But this will all get secured even more when I sew it. This is very, very thin lace. Okay. And now I do need to put a little bit here and then a little at the top. So I have a little bit of a shake going on, which is very odd, but I had a what do you call it, appointment with my rheumatologist yesterday, and I asked him, I said, with the COVID, I noticed that I'm getting like a tremble on the inside. He explained about red nerves and blue nerves or something like that. And he said that'll be the last thing. He said it does happen, where it does, because COVID unfortunately gets into every cell in your body. Said it does affect the nervous system, and that's going to be the last place to heal once your nerves are irritated. It's just, they take longer to heal as opposed to the rest of your body, which is aggravating because, doing embroidery and things like that when your hands are trembling, or when you're trembling, is really hard. But the worst thing is, we had a function to go to a couple days ago, put my eye makeup on. I'm like, I'm going to blind myself because I was trying to put my eyeliner on. I was poking my eye. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was just more irritating than anything else. Okay, so our next layer is going to be this fun cotton piece. Okay. And I don't even think I'm going to, because we're going to be running short on time, I'm not going to take you through the gluing on. We will glue that. I'll glue that. But I want to find the laces that I want to put on the top. Now, with this one, I found some lace that really matched this color. That's like that mint color. So I'm going to pop over here and see if I have any blue lace to just kind of pull in the lace. I know there's none in that one. Let me go up here. Okay, I have some ribbons. Sorry about the noise. I am going to do, for those of you who have watched me, I have moved my room into the larger, in the big den. And so I have not done a craft room tour since my move. So I think I will do oh, I love this. This is some of my favorite. And this is, I think, my last piece. And I have used that inside the journal. So I think that is going to be lovely. Okay, so this is going to go here somewhere. And then I think we're going to use, let me see. I want that scallop. This one right here. I'm going to try to find this one. And that is not the one I used on the inside. So let me see if I can find that. I may not have any more of that. My wider I might have to just do this. My wider. Oh, I do have it. Ta-da. Okay, so I think I'm going to use this. This is going to go here. Okay. And I love that I have some of this. I've used it on the inside of the book. And then I'm going to come in and we're going to do that. Okay, and so for the essence of time, guys, pretty much except for my sewing, and I will come in and sew all around here, we have just built a really pretty journal cover. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial today and that you have a blessed day, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them below. If you want to know where I got the stuff and whatnot, I will be happy to share that with you. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.